Yo, what's good, y'all? You already know what it is. Your boy Mambo with the Big Dog Command Room. How y'all doing? Glory to God, man. And you get a daytime edition of Mambo in the Big Dog Command Room. Mambo during the day. You know, I just wanted to get on here and talk about our draft picks real quick. Let's see. Give me a second. I just want to talk about our draft picks real quick. Yeah, let's do that. Man, as y'all seen in the pre-draft video, I was just like, I don't really care who they draft. Like, as long as they drafted these positions. I said cornerback, lineman. What did I say? Cornerback, lineman. Cornerback, tackle, center, and then linebacker. So they did 3 out of the 4. You know what I'm saying? For whatever reason, they're allergic to linebackers, or linebackers are repulsive to them or disgusting. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But for what it's worth, I feel like we came out with a very, very solid draft. And I'm proud of what they did. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we got a lot more complete team. A lot of our needs are filled. Outside of probably like a left guard, having a true left tackle, and then some solid like linebackers, like linebacker 3 or 4, like you know what I'm saying, like some athletic like linebacker 3 or 4. Outside of that, and maybe tight end, I feel like we have a really solid roster. It's like no deficiencies with it. You know what I'm saying? So, let's get into it, man. 4-3 cornerback. Ball hawk. We ended up getting Emmanuel Forbes. Surprisingly enough, Christian Gonzalez came all the way down to us, and I'm sitting there like, oh, we might actually get Christian Gonzalez. I can't believe it. But I kept telling my homie, he was here with me. I was just like, watch them not do that. Watch them end up getting somebody random that we don't even think is going to happen. Of course, Emmanuel Forbes was projected to us, and that wasn't a random thing, but it was just I just knew they wasn't going to do what we wanted them to do. You know what I'm saying? But I still feel like Emmanuel Forbes is a solid pick. People give him so much flack for being skinny. As a dude that's short and has been skinny majority of my life, I vouch for him. I vouch for the underdog. Even though I wouldn't say he's an underdog mentality, he's just a dog. You know what I'm saying? And I hope he pans out to be everything that we need him to be, as far as creating turnovers and just being that guy on the outside for us. I feel like this completes our cornerback room. Having Kendall Fuller as your CB 3 or 4, you know what I'm saying, is elite. You know what I'm saying? It's not saying much, because it's what is an elite CB3 or 4? You know what I'm saying? But and with Quan Martin, I'm getting ahead of myself, but with Quan Martin being probably the nickel back, Kendall Fuller probably gonna be the 4, but still having him as a 4 coming off the bench, that's elite. You know what I'm saying? Cause he's not fast, he's not that. But if you got him coming in the pinch just to cover somebody, that's pretty good. That just elevates our cornerback room, even more. So I'm excited about that. Love the pick. If he can get to 180, 185, and really can still keep that speed, solid, bro. I'm not worried about it either. Cause it's just as everybody has talked about already, you know what I'm saying, you in the NFL, you getting around those true nutritionists. It's just like when you in high school. You a kid. Your parents may or may not have money to support your diet, for becoming a bigger football player, stronger football player. And you go to college, you got a meal plan. You got plans to help you get bigger. You know what I'm saying? And from what I've heard, from John Kahn and stuff like that, he was 150 when he came in. So he gained 16 pounds, from what they said on his draft thing. And now I'm hearing that he's 170, 173, you know what I'm saying? So who knows? Like his weight is a mystery right now, but like you know what I'm saying. I feel like he's still gonna get bigger and he's gonna be all right. There's cornerbacks that's played at 175 and stuff in the league like in the 2000s, and that's like a harder era, like you know, as far as like being really physical. So he'll be all right. But yeah, what I was saying, so when you go to college, it's like a bigger level of diet and routine to get bigger. And then when you get to the NFL, it's even more. Like, you know what I'm saying? He'll be able to hire a chef. You know, he's going to have trainers. He's going to be in the weight room. Like, you know what I'm saying? A whole different level of training. Like, he's going to get better and bigger. So I'm not worried about that. I'm happy with the pick, even though I wanted Christian Gonzalez. I was hoping that here, like, in the 16th pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders select Chris. Like, you know, instead of hearing the Chris, I heard Emmanuel. I was like, and I was like, for a second, I was like, who? And then it was Emmanuel Forbes. So I was like, okay, I could live with that. You know what I'm saying? So that's fair. The second round, I didn't know who we were gonna get. I was thinking we were gonna get a lineman. I was hoping we get a lineman. I was wanting to know Science Torrance or like, you know, Steve Avila. Somebody good, somebody solid. Like, you know, I want to get some dogs on the offensive line. You know, and I didn't know where we were going. You know, of course, Steve Avila was like one of the first picks. Like, you know, I want to talk about the draft like in whole, because I did like Joey Porter. I like happy Joey Porter went to the Steelers. That was satisfying. I'm happy that he went there. Ryan Branch went to the Lions. That's tough, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't stand the Lions. Like, I've hated the Lions for a minute. Like, along with the Seahawks and a couple other teams. But anyway, that's a tough thing. So they got him and C.J. Gardner-Johnson, so that's pretty tough, you know. And he was only a couple picks ahead of us. Everybody like, oh, we could have got him, but it's like, you know, we ended up getting Quan Martin, Jatavius Martin. I said Jatavius Bryant in my other video, but I meant Martin. Like, I don't know where I got Bryant from. Like, you know, I think this may be a basketball player, football player with that, like, that last name Bryant and the first name. I don't know. When I figure that out, maybe I'll get that back to you. But I didn't know where we were going. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, of course, it was like no linebackers that we could really draft that high in the draft, and that I wanted that high in the draft. So getting Jatavius Martin is just like, y'all got to think about it. Y'all so pressed on names. Like, Jatavius Martin runs a 4.4. Brian Branch runs a 4.5. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, he may run faster or play faster in the game, but Jatavius Martin is a dog. Like, he's just like David Witherspoon. Like, their whole secondary, like, really physical, very strong, like, you know, very, like, you know, attack the ball, have very good ball skills. Like, he runs a 4.4 and has a 44-inch vertical. Like, we're getting, if anything, we're getting a more athletic safety compared to Brian Branch. Like, you know what I'm saying? If they reverse it, if Jatavius Martin played for Alabama, we would probably be really clamoring for Jatavius Martin. And if Brian Branch played for Illinois, we would have been mad if we got Brian Branch instead of Jatavius Martin. Tell me if I'm not wrong. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just the name thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I'm really happy with it, because when I was watching the DBs for the combine, and they kept saying Jatavius Martin's like the perfect, like the best player for the slot, like the nickel position. And I'm just like, man, I hope we can get it. And it's like, you know, sometimes when you hope, like, you know, like, I hope we can get this player. More times than not, you don't end up getting them, because it's just so many teams that's like thinking like you. I hope we can get them, like, you know what I'm saying? But shout out to Ron for them being aggressive, because it's like, it would have been one thing if, like, we had in the third round, we had a pick at 47 and maybe 97. Like, you know, maybe we either trade up or, like, you know, just stay where we were at in the third round and pick him. But because people saying it was a reach for us to try to get him. But I think it was like, you know, when you think about it, if you're coveting like a very good safety position, and like, you know, Brian Branch and him are like probably like, you know, neck and neck or whatever, or close, you know, more than likely he not gonna be there when we try to pick again in the third round. So for us to get that, like, you know, get our guy, I'm happy, I'm proud of Ron for doing that. And that already solidifies our secondary. Man, if we couldn't get Brian Branch, then the next best thing was to get Quan Martin. Like, he probably was the second best safety in this thing, best nickel in this draft outside of Brian Branch. And then like the gap from 47 to 97 would have been too great for us to end up getting him. So that's that. From what we're hearing about, like, from rumors, like, shout out to Rico for Street Scores, shout out to Ed Oliver, I think, shout out to Pedro, and just all the guys, like, just for keeping us updated with rumors and different news. From what we was hearing, like, we like Deion Henley. We really wanted to get Steven Villa, maybe, like, what I'm saying, and different things like that. So from what I'm seeing, like, we wanted, like, just like we wanted those 4 positions, we had like 4 guys that we wanted to go after and stuff like that. So, of course, we wanted to get Emmanuel Forbes. Wanted to get Steven Villa in the 2nd round, like, what I'm saying. Wanted to get Quan Martin, we got Quan Martin, and wanted to get Deion Henley. So if we got 2 out of the 4 guys, we got 50%, but that's not considering a draft where it's like you got 32 teams picking plus compensatory picks and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? For us to get 2 guys out of the 4 that we wanted, that's pretty fair. And even to that point with, like, 2 the linebackers, like, DeMarion Overshown and Deion Henley, for the mold and type of guy that we want to get, like, normally, or what they look to get in the draft, DeMarion Overshown, he was a safety when he first got to Texas, and he only had started at linebacker for like a couple years. So usually looking for like guys that's played the position for like 4 or 5 years, team captain, healthy and stuff like that. He has been healthy, but it's just like that's not the fit that we're looking for. It's like from a profile perspective, but as far as athletic perspective, we probably weren't interested in. And the same with Deion Henley. He played quarterback and like wide receiver. Played quarterback in like high school, and then I believe he played wide receiver in college, and then switched to linebacker, and only had played it for like 1 year. But his athletic ability is so good, like, what I'm saying, like, it's just like, it's hard not to look at it, what I'm saying. But he also probably didn't fit that mold we were looking for, even though we probably still would have went after them if we had like maybe like a 3rd round pick like earlier and the 97. And I wouldn't have been mad at it. If we could have found a way to squeeze one of those dudes into our draft, like, had, instead of having 7 picks, had 8 picks and had Deion Henley or DeMarion Overshown, that would have been dope. But, I'm happy, even though I'm mad that we didn't get them, I'm happy for DeMarion Overshown staying in Texas. Even though they went to the Cowboys and I hate the Cowboys, I'm mad that they got him. I'm happy that he was able to stay where he played in the area where he played college football. And I'm happy for Deion Henley, because he's from Cali and he got to stay in Los Angeles. His house probably like 20-30 minutes, maybe 10 minutes away from the stadium. So it's really dope, what I'm saying. So I'm happy for him for that. Shout out to both of those guys. So moving on to the 3rd round pick, Ricky Stromberg. I'm happy with that pick, man. I thought it was really solid, like, what I'm saying. I feel like he's projected out to be a really good dude, like, what I'm saying, like 0 sacks allowed in the SEC as a center is really, amazing. He's a tough dude, like, what I'm saying, and a smart guy, like, to be able to point out blitzes and stuff like that. I feel like that's something that we're lacking as far as the offensive line. You don't really see that. Probably we've seen that from Chase Roulier, but he was the starting center for us, like the head dude for such a long time. But you don't really see that from, like, maybe Tyler Lawson. Not saying that he hadn't done it, like, but Nick Martin, Wes Schweitzer, you wasn't seeing it because it's like not a continuity and all that. So, but I feel like he's a smart guy, very enthusiastic, like, what I'm saying. I think he will come in and like do a good job leading. Out of him, like Steven Villa, John Michael Smith, and Joe Tippmann. Those are the 2 I wanted: Joe Tippmann or John Michael Smith, or Alua Timmy. Like, he got drafted in the 5th round. Like, out of those, like, you know, I'm not mad that they picked, like, you know, those are like comparable guys. Like, you know, I'm happy that we ended up getting somebody that was pretty solid, like, you know what I'm saying? So we'll see how he goes. Like, you know, we ended up cutting Trace Roulier, so we obviously see a lot of potential in this guy, and we'll see how he grows in this offense and, like, you know, develops. Next thing, Brandon Daniels. Didn't really know about this guy. Again, I was like, okay, hopefully this is the time we get a linebacker. There's linebackers on the board. No, you know what I'm saying? But then we get Brandon Daniels, and he's a tackle. So I'm like, okay, tackle, you know, don't really know much about him. Need to gain some weight, 294. As a line, like, so here's my logic with it. There's certain positions where you don't need to have that much weight. Like, you don't need to be the heaviest person. At running back, you probably don't need to be 220. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you're 180, 190, probably 190, 205, okay. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, if you're a cornerback, you know, being 170, 160, 170, it's like, you know what I'm saying? But if you're a linebacker, maybe like a defensive lineman or something, somewhere where you're in the trenches, like often you gotta like move your weight around. You gotta have some weight on you, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think that he does not have play strength, but it's just like he needs to, like, you know, get a little bit bigger. And just like Emmanuel Forbes, like, you know, him getting into an NFL program, you know, he'll be able to have people, like, you know, feed him, train him, and get him to where he needs to be. So I'm not worried about it. He has a whole offseason to do that. And it's really not that hard to gain that much weight, like, you know what I'm saying, unless you just got a crazy fast metabolism and stuff. You're sweating a lot. But I like the kid. He seems like a very good kid, like, you know what I'm saying. Young, like, you know, I think he's like 21, 22, I don't know. He just looks young, like, you know what I'm saying. And the thing with that, he just seems like he'll get very emotional, or, like, you know, I don't know how to say it, like, you know, have that grit for the NFL, like, you know what I'm saying. Like, I heard he's very powerful, like, he's very strong and stuff like that. But it's like I don't know if he can deal with the grind or, like, the aggressiveness of the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Like, if something bad happens, can he mentally lock in and still, you know, perform at a high level? You know what I'm saying? That's my concern with him. Not from his physical standpoint, but from a mental standpoint. You know what I'm saying? But it'll remain to be seen. Like, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully, Eric Bieniemy and Ron, like, you know, because they have very strong mindsets, they'll be able to help him adopt that, or maybe he already has it, and maybe I'm underestimating him. But, you know, it remains to be seen, and we'll see what happens. So, 5th round, we moved up. We got KJ Henry. I like the pick. You know what I'm saying? I understand the pick because we need to make sure we have some insurance as far as, like, you know, Chase or Tez possibly not being here. All of our defensive ends apparently not going to be here, you know, or under contract, like, you know what I'm saying, through the next season, after this next season. So, good insurance policy, good, like, you know, guy seems very athletic. Seemed like, from what we're hearing, that if it wasn't for Myles Murphy and Breece, like, you know, he probably would be the top dog. And he actually was kind of the top dog or the leader in the room as far as, like, his voice being the vocal guy there. Seemed like we got a solid pickup, and they were very interested in it. It looks like it's probably a steal because they decided they needed to trade up to get him. So we'll see how it goes. I'm excited to see what he does. You know, it contributes to this defense. And yeah, man, hopefully he can make some plays for us and surprise us. So, like, you know, I love to be surprised. Like, you know, in regards to, like, you know, players that we don't expect much from. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not saying I don't expect much from him, but what are we going to get from him? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Chris Rodriguez. I like the kid, like his story, you know, been through some adversity as far as, like, having a DUI, like, you know what I'm saying, and then having to battle through that. You know, that's tough, you know what I'm saying? It's saying that I could probably possibly plummet his draft status and stuff like that. Then he lost his mom right before the draft. You know, much prayer to you and strength and like, you know, perseverance, like, you know, for your journey, man. You know, like the kid, like how tough he runs. Probably wish he was like a little faster, but I mean, you can't do much with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, like as a like running back, like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes, you know, sometimes it's not all about speed. It's just like, can you ball? Can you run? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's a good pickup. I wish we would have got Jared McKinnon. Like, that would have like took our defensive back room. I mean, our running back room to like a whole nother level. Like, you know, I would have been excited to see like kind of an explosive type dude like that in the background, along with backfielders, along with Antonio Gibson. But Antonio Gibson is probably, like, he is our most explosive back. So I'm excited to see what Eric Bieniemy does with that guy. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, at the same time, it's like, if we did bring Jerry McKinnon, it's just like, oh, basically you just bringing your offense from Kansas City to here, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all your offensive players is kind of like a cheat code. They are just another excuse to keep Eric Bieniemy from getting a head coaching job. So I'm fine with it. Like, you know, I'm happy Jerry McKinnon is still with the Chiefs. Like, you know, stay where you're familiar, and like, you know, it is what it is. But I like Chris Rodriguez, like how he runs. I'm excited how he's going to, like, you know, play out in this team for us. Seventh round, Andre Jones. I like this dude. Everybody keeps saying we don't know what he's gonna do. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't seem like he has, like, you know, explosive traits and stuff. I don't know. For whatever reason, I feel like bro a dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? He might surprise a couple of y'all. I just feel like that. I may be tripping. I may be wrong. I just feel like he's a dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I only watched like a couple highlights. Maybe the highlight tape video was really good, and I was just like, oh, this was amazing. But I just think that he'd be straight. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we'll see how that goes. That rounds off the draft. Wasn't really excited about the undrafted free agents. Oh, rewind back just like that. I'm at work trying to watch the draft and stuff like that. So, like, for whatever reason, the internet kept cutting off, and they would go to commercial when the draft pick was coming up and whatnot. But finally, you get to Andre Jones' pick, and I see it, and it's like, I'm like, hopefully, please draft a linebacker. Please just draft somebody that's a linebacker. And it, like, his name came across, and it said, like, outside linebacker. And I'm just like, that's not what I'm talking about. I asked for you to draft a linebacker, but that's not the one. I'm just like, literally my face. I hate these dudes. Like, you know, I mean, but still, like, even bringing 2 edge rushers in was pretty solid. I'm not mad at the pick, but I'm just mad that they didn't pick a linebacker. Like, it's annoying. It's really scary how they're neglecting this. Like, we didn't have this issue last year, but we'll see. I know we still have Drew White and, like, you know, Milo Eifler and Khalid Hudson and Najee Harris or whatever. Or Deshaun Harris, whatever. I'm sorry, wrong player. Deshaun Harris, but just keep bringing talent in. You want competition so much. Bring competition in one of the most. Linebacker is, I don't care how much they prioritize, linebacker is still a very critical position in defense. Like, you think about the top defenses that's like ever like played. Like, I keep talking about the Ravens, but who was there in the middle? Ray Lewis. Who was the heartbeat of the defense? Ray Lewis. Who was the heartbeat of the Bears? Like, you know, Dick Butkus and daggone Mike Singletary. Like, you know, the Saints. Like, you know, Sam Mills. Like, dudes, like, you know, some dudes in the middle, bro. Like Patrick Willis. Like you need dudes in the middle, bro. Like, you know, you can't have just David Mayo, like, just like one sprained ankle away from having David Mayo and then be like, oh, we're gonna be fine. Yeah, David Mayo, he'll step right in. No, it's not good enough. It's still not good enough. That's the only gripe I have with this staff, bro. It's not good enough. Like the same things. Like, you know what I'm saying? We get attacked in the middle of the field because we don't have no athletic linebackers that are aware enough and good enough in pass coverage to to make some plays. Like, you know what I'm saying? Only person is Jamin Davis, and he can't play two linebacker positions at once. Like, you know, so it's not good enough. I'm sick of it. But anyways, I'm not really moving on to the undrafted free agents. I'm not really excited about any of them like that. Not saying that they're not gonna be good. I mean, the wide receivers was cool, Tinsley and whoever, like the Bowen or whatever. That's cool. I'm happy about the Bowie State dude coming in. Like, you know, always happy about HBCU players coming in, especially if it's local. But then I heard, like, you know, another player from like DCU getting picked up. You know what I'm saying? Like a real low key signing. I forgot his name, but. The only player that I'm excited about with the undrafted free agents is Casimir Allen, because he could possibly return punts and kicks. But we'll see how that goes. But overall, despite my disappointment with having a linebacker, I feel like we had a really good draft, really solid draft, you know what I'm saying, and helped, like, you know, definitely rounded off this secondary, helped shore up depth in places that we needed, and we just good, like, you know what I'm saying. You know, looking forward, I think if everything goes right and if Ron is still here, hopefully looking forward the next year we can get us a solid left tackle, like, you know, in the draft, or maybe a solid defensive end, like, you know, probably either one of those. And that's kind of like a luxury at that point, or like even maybe a first round tight end, like, you know, who knows, like, you know what I'm saying, how the offseason and all that stuff goes. So now we're finally in a place where it's like we don't really need to, like he was saying, we don't really need to reach. Like, you know, we can just get whoever we need, or even whoever we like. So we're getting to those points, like, you know, like the Bills, like getting Dalton Kincaid in the first round, and Osiris Torrance, like, in this, they drafted so solid. Like, you know, I want to go back and look at it, you know. And then, you know, everybody, I feel like the division had a decent draft. Everybody keeps sizing up the Eagles, but it's like, y'all just drafted everybody. They basically did our move, like, you know what I'm saying, like us drafting players from the same school. Like, we drafted Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, Fedarian Mathis, like, you know, dudes like that. Y'all just, like, they giving everybody so much credit, like, you know, for that. It's just like, y'all just drafted everybody from Georgia. It was kind of lazy, or just weird, like, or lame. It wasn't even late, it was weird. It was just lame, like, to me. It's just like, you know, like, they drafted like 3 players from Georgia, and then got another player from Georgia with DeAndre Swift. Excuse me. I'm sorry. That's disgusting. I say the best pick, one of the best picks they got was Sidney Brown, I believe. Sidney Brown went to them from Illinois. Another secondary guy that played with Quan Martin. But outside of that, it's just like, okay, like, you know, y'all got these dudes, like, you know, but we still not scared. We beat y'all last year, we gonna beat y'all this year, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we really could have beat y'all the first time we played y'all, like, you know what I'm saying? If we had, like, at least a confident quarterback in there their first game. But it is what it is, man. I mean, okay, I got younger, like, with the players that y'all lost, but they still gotta develop, they still gotta learn, and they still gotta run through us, like, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, it remained to be seen, but it's like everybody be sizing that draft up. It was just like, basically, okay, you drafted Jalen Carter, that was cool. Nolan Smith was going to, like, you know, get drafted in the first round. He should have. He just fell to y'all, so it wasn't like a crazy move. Like, he came to y'all, like, you know, and cool, y'all put that piece together, y'all got the teammates together, cool. Kelly Ringo went to the 4th round. I don't know if it's a steal or not. Cool. You know what I'm saying? I say Sidney Brown is your best pick, like, you know what I'm saying? If I think he went to y'all. I mean, just people just sizing it, because it's just like another name thing, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like say if, like, Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, Brian Branch, and Will Anderson were all in the same draft, and we ended up picking them. I mean, that is an insane draft, like, you know, but at the same time, it's just like, I mean, okay, y'all just drafted the players that were there, like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, y'all sizing them, and it's just like, they still gotta come on the field and put it all together, you know what I'm saying? Like, Jordan Davis didn't really play like all year last year, and Nakobe Dean neither did Nakobe Dean. So are they going to play a bit more like this year? And are they even going to be good? You know what I'm saying? So you gotta prove it to me. You know what I'm saying? Even with our drafts, it's just like, okay, we may seem like we got all this complete team now and stuff like that, and Airbnb is here, the team's getting sold, all that. But what are we gonna do when we get on the field? Is it gonna be much of the same, or is it gonna be something different? Like, you know what I'm saying? So my expectations have been extremely tempered. I don't care what, like, you know, type of hype or whatever they try to send us. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not getting caught up with that, because we should have done that last year, but we didn't do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta prove it to me. Ron, you gotta prove it to me. Evie, you gotta prove it to me. All y'all gotta prove it to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. But yeah, I was just saying the Eagles had a solid draft. It was just like, you know, hey, like, you know what I'm saying? Even Tyler Steen was a good pickup. Tanner Key, whatever. Cool. The Giants, really none of the teams like draft scared me, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Deonte Banks was a cool pickup for them. Jalen Hyatt was one that kind of scared me a little bit, but it's like, you know, we got players, bro. Like, we got corners, we got secondary, bro. I'm not worried about that. We got dudes that can run with him, like, you know what I'm saying? Who did the Giants get? And the Cowboys, it's just like, Cowboys is okay. John Michael Smith was solid for them, though. I mean, they had a solid draft. Don't get me wrong. Like, at least those first 4 picks. I don't know, for whatever reason they didn't have a 6th round pick. I think they maybe traded or something. Yeah, I don't know who the other players is, but the Bears is okay. It didn't really scare me. It's like, you know, I mean, the Giants are getting better. They have a good coaching staff. So it's just gonna be a good competitive thing. We gotta get revenge on them though, like, you know what I'm saying? So that's the whole thing with that. But we'll see. And then the Cowboys, the only pick I was mad about with them was DeMarion Overshown, you know, but and they had that cool moment with their son, Deuce, whatchamacallit, like dad, the dad, basically a scout from the Cowboys was able to draft his son to the team that the Cowboys, so that was cool. Mozzie Smith, I heard he was really strong, schoolmaker. They always drafting some tight ends. And Mario Overshown I was mad about. Fehoko, I heard about him. He's okay. Their draft don't scare me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Their draft definitely doesn't scare me. The Eagles draft don't really scare me. I just feel like it wasn't lazy, but it's just like, you know, I mean, I guess it was lazy, whatever. I don't know. It's just like, everybody's like, oh my gosh, we're just getting all these players from Georgia. Like, it's just like, they're falling to you. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're just playing the board. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Now you got to put it on the field. You know what I'm saying? It's like the dream team that they had. Like, you know, they got all those players. It's just like, you know, I mean, even last year, they got all these players and they still lost. Like, you know, so it's just like, you got to prove it every year. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the only team that I've seen successfully, like, get all these players and, like, you know, go all the way was the Rams. Like, you know, and you saw the very next year what happened to them. So, yeah, that's that. I feel like we had a very solid draft. Are we world beaters? Are we about to daggone just run through the playoffs or the NFC? Like, you know, no. I was just looking at Rio's kind of like tiers of like teams and stuff like that. And the teams that we had to play this year, man, it's gonna be a tough season for us. Like, last year was like the perfect scenario season for us. Last year was like a perfect scenario season for us, and we still didn't we didn't even make playoffs. Like so, and we didn't know that we couldn't make the playoffs. So this year is like gonna be tough. From like just like the teams that we're playing, and so much change that's happening in the league. Yeah, we gonna have to get it done. But overall, I'm happy with the draft. I only wish my only regret is that we didn't get like like a solid left guard or something like that, or like a top end like left tackle. But like by that point, like from the top of the draft, it was already a wrap. And then we didn't get like some dude like Deion Henley or Demarion Overshown. Like kind of like how Martin Mayhew was talking about. He wish he could have been a little bit more aggressive. Like maybe if he would have traded some picks up. I wonder if like those two dudes like Demarion and Deion were somebody people that he was looking at. So you drop them in our draft. Our draft is like solid to me. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. But yeah, man, that was just like my thoughts about it. Happy about that. Excited what's gonna happen in the season. Not too excited where I'm about to just be on here, just like extremely disappointed. But I'm just like patiently waiting to see what's gonna happen, like in the near future. So that's pretty much it, man. I'm gonna try to get back on these old school vintage games, like what I'm saying. But I'm going out of town hopefully tonight. You know what I'm saying? And I will be back, and then I'll be back rolling with everything else. So that's it. It's your boy Mambo, the Big Dog Command Room. Peace, love.
Peace.